There we go. Hello again, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. It is going to be just me again. So I'm glad you could join us here. For those of you who don't know, we might not have said this in a little while, but our weekly community updates, a little bit of trivia here. We have been doing these community updates every Thursday afternoon, 1 o'clock Central U.S. time for about 5 years now. Obviously, there's a week or two there with, Christmas and Thanksgiving, but we're doing 49 to 50 weeks out of every year for 5 years now. And I'm really excited about that. It goes to one of our key elements that we're always talking about, and that's consistency. But they have changed over time. They started out as very exclusive events just for our memberships. Our membership members, I'm sorry, I'll get that right. And it was meant to be a little bit more of a open forum. And that was really cool stuff. And then we started expanding and bringing in some other folks so they could get a perspective of what's going on. And then over time, that every Thursday slot, we knew it was a bit challenging for some people. So we transitioned and now live stream this to the social media platforms. And it seems like we get very, very few live attendees anymore. Most of you guys consume this, whenever you feel like it, from whatever platform you're scrolling through or hit up on a regular basis. So however it happens, I want to say thank you again. Thank you for some of you who have been tuning into these for many years now, and others that are just now popping in. Along the way, we have put some structure around this. It's not one of these things where we just want to ramble on about whatever's top of mind, although we do a little bit of that sometimes. But we always have a theme matching up with our annual playbook. And we've even adjusted the playbook slightly as years go by. We're very much trying to model what we are talking about and methodology that we're using to provide some really good examples for you guys there. But if you are curious about that, you can go out to our website, humanizeit.biz. There is an events link or events page there, and you can get a quick access to the 2025 playbook, as well as the link to our YouTube channel. We transitioned everything from, I believe it was Wistia. We had all our videos on for several years, but we moved those over to YouTube a while ago. And so we have a pretty good inventory out there. I haven't checked lately, but it is, I think, hundreds of hours of content. I'm a little scared to think how much video there is of me out there. Not one of the places I thought I'd be in my professional career. But anyway, there's lots of really good content out there. We do hit these topics up on a regular basis. So if we don't cover it enough in one session, or you're checking on something, your timing doesn't match up with what we're going to do, we've got probably at least 3, if not 4, previous sessions out there that you can go and check out. So little blurb for our community update here. Again, thank you for our members that have been tuning in to us long term. We appreciate that and are glad to see plenty of new people checking things out and getting in the groove with the Humanize IT and our platform and the framework and everything that we're trying to do. Our goal here is to really help MSPs transform their engagements with their clients. We're really trying to help you guys be the valued partner and not just another vendor with your clients. So that said, there's 2 topics that I have for today. One's going to be really broad. I'll put that one at the end. The first one is short and sweet, and it is your activities, all right, your touch points that you have with your clients. And this kind of goes back to our theme that we've been on with Cadence. We talked about it some last week. I'm not great at clickbait sort of titles to these, but I tried titling this one, first week of August, the end is near. Things are kind of wrapping up in the summer season. So we're entering that phase where, school's really kicking back up. A lot of businesses are focusing on their year-end activities now as they come back from summer. And so this kicks off, I don't say it's a busier time, because I feel like even though we've been doing different things, everybody's been busy. Everybody that we're talking to, I know internally, we've been very busy. It's a different kind of busy maybe than what, if we look at, say, Q1, Q2, or the spring and winter versus the fall. The summer season always seems like a different kind of busy, but we're getting back into it now. And as far as day-to-day 9 to 5 sort of business activities, and we need to make sure we're hitting the engagements that we're planning on doing. So a touch point alerting. So we've got 2 things I'm going to talk about briefly. One, there's a baseline in our platform. There's a baseline feature called touch point alerting. And my best description of this is a safety net. And it is a way for you to, based on your segmentation of your clients and however you want to do that. We have a default one of big, medium, and small. We've got a great little exercise I love doing with our members. If you want to hit me up, I'd love to walk through an ABC segmentation workshop with you guys. It's a lot of fun, and I think a very thought-provoking sort of exercise. So hit me up if you want to do some of those. Just reach out to me directly, skip@humanizeit.biz. I'm glad to do those with our members. But however you segment your clients, once you put a client into a segment, you immediately get that safety net. And what it says is, hey, based on their segment, you should be interacting with this client on a given frequency, whether that's monthly, quarterly. In some cases, you can even set that up to be annually. And we've got some software triggers that kick off. They're not necessarily intelligent. Right? I know AI is a big term right now, and we came out with this a long time ago. But this is saying, hey, did somebody get in here and do something with this client? And so that in itself might not be really valuable. Where I think its strongest value comes in is the alert that comes up. And, as diligent as we try to be, sometimes I think still fall into these seasons where we stick our head up out of the chaos and go, wait, has anybody talked to them lately? And we can go out there and look really easily in our platform at the touchpoint alerting widget, and it will tell us right away, hey, nobody's done anything over here. We may be working tickets, yes, all right, but tickets is not client engagement. And again, we're focusing on the more value-added elements of what you're trying to do with your clients. And if we're not doing those things, then we're setting ourselves up for some unpleasant and unexpected surprises. So utilizing the touchpoint alerting is a really cool tool. Now, like I said, it's a safety net. It's really easy to implement. You basically need to do one thing. That's put a client into a segment, and the safety net gets laid out there. You don't get to customize it. Right? If you were, let's say, building skyscrapers in New York, right? And you're up there working in the structure as it's being built, you expect a safety net. Are you really going to be that nitpicky about what color the safety net is? Do the lines run horizontally so it makes little squares, or is it kind of a grid that makes diamond? Do you really care? No, you just want a safety net there. And so touchpoint alerting is a really great feature that you can implement with virtually no work, right? When you import a client, put it in a segment, and you've got your safety net in there. So if you're not using those, look at those. It's super easy to turn on. Some of you have it turned on and haven't really looked at that widget. So I'll talk about that here in just a little bit. I'll give you some quick samples of that. And so you'll be able to see what's going on there. And then as a step above that is your client engagement playbooks, your overall client engagement strategy, and how you're going to be doing those activities with your clients. And we talk about this several times. I think it's a little bit later on, probably a little bit closer to Christmas or Thanksgiving when we talk about the playbooks a little bit more. And you have the opportunity to build out a series of activities that you're doing with your clients. And that's always our recommendation. The buzzword for SEO and stuff like that is QBRs, right? And I know we've all got mixed feelings about that term in general, but if you just think of the concept of, hey, I'm going to have a QBR with my clients, and that's going to do all of my strategic engagement for the year, I would disagree, just to be honest with you. Yes, a QBR type activity does need to be happening on a regular basis. Quarterly is a great interval, but there are also a variety of other activities that we need to do. Many of those depend on your client and typically how big that client is. For your larger clients, you want to protect that revenue. And so you need to be engaging with more and various types of activities. For the smaller guys, I understand it. There's not a lot of margin in that deal. You can't afford to drop several extra hours a year into that, because at the end of the year, the financials just don't work out on that. But you need to have a plan on how you do that. Don't just do that reactively. Right? Remember that that's kind of in pretty stark contrast of your entire business model, right? If we're working, in the MSP industry, that at its core, for profitability and for value, not only for your clients, but for you, there's a really critical element there of proactive work. And it doesn't just need to be proactive patching, right? You need to be proactive with the engagements that you're doing with your clients. If you only meet with them when they have a problem, then you're painting yourself in a really, really bad light. So let's get some activities out there. Let's figure out how we want to structure those, and then let's execute on those. And to do that execution at a very baseline, our touch point alerting provides you that safety net so that when something falls through, we get a nice red indicator. We can catch that right away before it gets really bad. But then as a building and a more advanced implementation of that, we can look at the client engagement playbooks and fill in the gaps that we need to, and do the more valuable exercises and engagements we need to do with our clients throughout the year. Do those on a regular basis. You can, delegate the ones that make sense to delegate. And I always like to stress this really important element is the client engagement relationship doesn't come down to one person within your organization. It needs to be shared. It is shared. If you look at it, you know it is shared, but how is it shared? And is it done well? Is it done consistently? And that's probably the biggest question that many of you have. You have some clients that are great and some that are not so great. I would say at the core of that inconsistency between those two is probably a very determining factor in whether they're great or not so great. So let's plan out those activities. All right, I'm going to touch on those just a little bit more here in a second. But my second topic for today is all of the feature updates that we've been pushing here of late. We've been really excited about these. We've been working really, really hard on them. We've got enhancements to the PSA sync. So whether you're on ConnectWise, Autotask, or Halo, we've got a lot more integrations, a lot more features there available to you. We have even more on the way. We were working with our devs just a day on this, getting some elements tweaked up and working a little bit better so that we can dive into more of the financials. We're looking at the contracts, the agreements that you have, and getting that information over so you can provide a more comprehensive view and analysis with your clients and really facilitate those discussions better. So that's coming in as well. We have been doing a lot of work with the RMM integrations. We know that, yes, if you're using ConnectWise and some RMM tool, a lot of that information ends up as a config record in ConnectWise. And so we've been able to pull that in for quite a while now, but sometimes we know ConnectWise, is what it is, and maybe those config records aren't what you want to use as your authoritative source on those assets. So we've gone out and we've got integrations set up now with NinjaOne, Dado RMM, and Enable. I think I got those right. I'm losing track. We've got so many integrations, I'm starting to lose track. So those are coming in as well. Please check those out. We've given you more features in the platform so that you can kind of separate that out. If you're using Halo for your ticketing and your projects, that's great. But if you're using NinjaOne for the RMM integration, we can bring those together. If you need to switch things around, if you're transitioning between different platforms, you've got the opportunities to slice and dice that however that particular client needs to be set up. So lots going on in there. We have also implemented the dispatch, is the feature that we're calling. It is a digest email that comes out that you can set up based on a persona. And the personas are even here of late, but before, the personas are really, really powerful tools that allow you to customize the information that you want to talk about with your clients. So you can use them in your meetings. They really facilitate those activities. But now, not only afterwards, you could share that persona with your client in a couple of different ways. Now we can take that persona and send it to them in an email. Gives you the opportunity to do things like set up a specific persona if you want, just for the email digest that you want to send out. We've got lots of opportunities for cadence on that as well. Is there a financial one that needs to go out monthly? Maybe there's a general overview that you want to go out quarterly. You can do that. The quarterly breakouts, we've got options there. So if you have clients on different physical cycles, they're maybe in government or education, and their fiscal year starts in October, we've got opportunities for you to send those out on their quarterly basis. So lots of flexibility there in the dispatch. And then a really exciting one that came out just this week is the Microsoft licensing widget. And so we've been listening to you guys. We know the challenges that you've had in getting Microsoft licensing in front of your clients. It seems to be a reoccurring pain point, tracking down those. How many licenses do they have? How many do they have allocated? And, a bit of a sore spot sometimes when they see a big disparity in those. And so that work has been pretty time consuming, again, from what we've heard from you. And so we've implemented a widget to make that super easy. It's going to read those licenses, give you a breakout on those on how they're allocated. And we even got some little default logic down there at the bottom to give you some utilization and some pretty generic recommendations, so that we even get a little value add in just that automated step. So that's a really cool one, especially when you add that to the dispatch feature. So you're able to send out that Microsoft update, that essentially that Microsoft licensing report on whatever persona you want at whatever interval you want. So some really cool features there. So all of that being said, I want to jump and give you guys, I'll try to be brief here. I'm still keeping an eye on my time here. I want to give you just a quick view of some of those, and again, open this up so that you guys can hit us up if you need more information. We've been expanding our knowledge base articles to provide on-demand resources, but always, please feel free to reach out to us directly, and we're more than happy to jump in there and help you guys work with this. So let me try to bring this up here, and bear with me. We've done so much testing that I've just completely obliterated all of our previous demo accounts. Kind of like Universal Exports, but I'm having to switch here a little bit. So we got Dynamo Corporation. I'll kind of work back just really off the top of mind. The Microsoft license one is really cool. So I'll start with it. To enable that, you just click the pencil element up here, scroll down. We've got Microsoft, so we can connect to this. And it's going to ask for credentials here, so that we do need a account that is authorized within that client's portal. So you may have some standard ones set up. You may have a unique one for each client. All right. So it allows you to put in that flexibility there that matches your needs. And now we've got this client connected to Microsoft. So I'm going to add that to this one. May not be the best place for it, but I'm just going to show you really quickly how we can utilize that. We're going to edit this persona, drop down here, and add the Microsoft licensing. I'll do a, we'll stretch it across the entire screen there. We can do it either way we want. Yes, we know we've used the British term for licenses there. So for our UK guys, congratulations, you got lead there, but I think we are going to change that. We've got a little feedback on that. So we're going to change that from a C to an S. That's one of the challenges that we have as a global company, trying to match everyone's spelling around the globe. The odd challenges that you have, right? So we'll apply our changes here to this persona. And as I scroll down here at the bottom, we will see our Microsoft licensing. And so now we can expand these. We can see the different things that we've got applied here. Looks like we've got an extra Microsoft licensing available. Do they need to utilize that? You know, that obviously just keeping an eye on this, that we may generate more questions from these, but the beauty of this is now we know what the questions, you know, the answer to those questions are, and can get this information really, really easily. This is all going to be very dynamic, and depending on how you want to share it, instantly available to your clients. So that's the Microsoft licensing widget. I scrolled past it, but I'll talk about it just to kind of bring it home. This is the CES module. So this is the activities that we've got for this one. This meeting, I went through and filled out a few things, and we can see that I missed a couple of plays in our playbook with this particular client. So those are highlighted here. And upcoming, it looks like we need to be having this month in August. It looks like a busy month. We've got a Office 365 product review. We need to have our strategic business review with them, as well as a general application portfolio review. All right. What are all of these? These are activities that we've built out. Are there activities that you're going to run? Maybe, maybe not. You may want to do something entirely different. That's fine. That's the beauty of these. You get to define the play and then run that activity however you guys want to do that. But we've got a plan here on there. We can put these on a calendar, so we can share these out. We can track the ones. I didn't provide some samples on that, but as these do get pushed out to a calendar, we get a little notification here that says, hey, this is on so-and-so's calendar. It was scheduled at this date. So that's a really handy feature here. So I'm kind of running out of time. I try not to let these go too long. So let me just go really quickly here at a couple of things. Let's check our roadmap. Oh, we do have a couple of things. Oh, good. All right. You can see here that we do have a couple of things linked up with, in this case, Autotask. For this one, if I want to click on that, it's going to take me out to Autotask. I can see all the details there from that perspective. But if I want to see everything that's available, if I want to see everything that's available, I can sync these up with Autotask. And so now it looks like those are the only three things I have out there. But if I had opportunities sitting out there that were generated some other way, then I would be able to bring those into the platform. Now, I have to say my personal opinion on this is to start pretty much any sort of event with your clients is to start that from the platform, all right? Because we are very uniquely set up to help you start that conversation, define the values, the benefits, set, estimations on budget, just in general, set expectations for that. So there's a lot of really good stuff that gets to happen in our platform. And once that is done, then it's, I think, a very productive time to then push that out to your PSA is the opportunity so that you're able to work that efficiently. I think for those that implement this workflow, this can really, really increase the efficiency of your quoting and sales process simply because we aren't doing things multiple times. We're getting the answers that we need, setting the expectations that need to be set before we start pulling a quote and building scopes of work. If you've ever heard me if I get the opportunity to go off on the tangent on that, you know my personal feelings about all that, but there's a tremendous opportunity to increase your quoting and selling efficiency by using this methodology. So great opportunity to do that. Once this comes back, we're getting updates on the statuses here. We've got details in these. Let's see, this one, it's test data, so bear with me. It was done in our test environment. But we were able to pull and push information in more detail here. It's not just a name that it used to be that's all we had. It was just a name that showed up, which was a great starting button. But now we're able to provide a lot more context, get real-time updates back and forth. And again, this all flows into a persona and however you want to do that. So these project statuses, these update, if you're sharing this with your client, they're able to see these updates in real time. So a great way to make those conversations continue, even when you're not in front of your customer, they're able to access this information, and provides a very powerful portal essential. We can put ticket information in here. We've got that. I think portals go way beyond ticketing information. All right. And we're a great tool to help your team facilitate that. So that's it. I'll try to wrap it up here. I can go on quite a bit more, and I think we may be having a workshop coming up here before too long around some of the new features and more practical stuff. So please stay tuned to that. That will be a closed event. So just want to let you guys know you will need to register for that. We won't be publishing that one as another video on our stream, because we're really wanting to get some live feedback from clients, allow people to ask questions while maintaining some confidentiality there. So please pay attention for our notification on that one when it comes out. And we're looking forward to that. That'll be a great opportunity for you guys to ask questions. We can get into some more of the details about exactly how you would like those things to flow, and answer any questions you have on that. All right. So a bit of a longer session for me today on the solo, but I do appreciate you guys for tuning in. And to pick back up and close with our bigger point, touch point alerting, use that safety net, but the methodology that you use really doesn't matter. The philosophy here is make sure that you're engaging with your clients on a planned and regular cadence. You need to be sticking with that. The consistency of your engagements is going to be very key in making really good clients out of not so good clients. So again, thank you all for joining us, and we will see you again.